Now, we are starting second part of the topic of our course, which is what is meant by culture and civilization. I will try to go very fast on it, so we can save some time, otherwise we will not be able to complete it. I will not go in details about its origin. All I will say is that it has been understood as training of mind and faculties, as well as a sense of religious worship in Christianity particularly, and then it has been used sometimes in a rather wider sense. E.B. Tylor particularly tries to define culture and or civilization is that complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, law, morals, customs and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. Here he has not used the word religion, but belief, and at the same time he has used other areas, customs, traditions, etc. of a people or a society. That is what is called their culture or civilization. And then you have another definition, that it is a progressive cultivation or development of faculties. A British poet who was poet of the court says that it is not just sum of several activities, but a way of life, which is an improvement on the definition. And then he also tells us that there are various channels of communication of culture, and emphasizes on family as a legitimate source of culture. He also considers religion as important in culture, and this quotation is very important to understand. He says the dominant force in creating a common culture between the people, each of which has its distinct cultures, is religion, which means Europe. Please do not at this point make a mistake in anticipating my meaning. This is not a religious talk. He was not supposed to be a religious person, and I am not setting out to convert any people. I am simply stating a fact. It is in Christianity that our art have developed. It is Christianity that the laws of Europe have until recently been rooted. If Christianity goes, the whole of our culture goes. This is what he as a thinker points out, and many people do not agree with him because they think culture is something different. Then what civilization? It has been defined again variously. Cultural areas in collection of cultural characteristics and phenomena is one definition. Other is that it is a matter of worldview, customs, structures and cultures, both material and conceptual. In 19th century, France and Germany, it was used sometimes interchangeably. Civilization culture both refer to overall way of life of a people, and a civilization is a culture writ large. They both involve values, norms, institutions, modes of thinking. So, here you find there is no difference maintained between the two. The author is saying that civilization and culture both are one and same, because they deal with values and way of life of people and their mode of thinking and so on and so forth. So, the definitions of culture and civilization are various. This is how Huntington, who was mentioned a while ago, defines civilization. He says is the highest cultural grouping of people and the broadest level of cultural identity. It is defined both by common objective elements such as language, history, religion, customs, institutions, and by the subjective self identification of people. So, this is how Huntington defines culture and civilization. The other word we used is that of values. So, what is meant by values? Values refer to generally those ideals or objectives or goals of life which a people develop by consensus, by their consideration. In the hierarchy of values, some values are regarded intrinsic, necessary, essential or foundational, while others are considered instrumental. For example, taking from Islamic values, adl, justice is essential value, while hurriya, freedom, is a instrumental value. What is classification of values? What kind of values exist? There are moral values, religious and spiritual values, economic values, legal values, social values, literary values, aesthetic values about what is beauty, family values, political values, customary values in a society, and national values that make a nation distinct or known. We can say without any hesitation that Jews and Hindus are known for their love of money. Muslims may acquire it, no one stops them, but as a group of people, as a culture, this is what is understood by them. So, there are some national values as well. Philosophical concept of values. Among the Greeks and later thinkers, happiness is the highest value of Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas. Pleasure is the highest value, which we talked about a while ago, by again Greek. Humanity or value of family culture or soul of elders is the Chinese value. Power is the highest value, as Nietzsche talks about it. Authenticity, Jean-Paul Sartre, and utility or benefit to individual, as John Stuart Mill and many others, and then common good or collective pleasure. These are usually concepts about values that people follow. But how values come into existence? जी, रिफा की जो वैल्यूज़ हैं वो कल्चरल भी हैं, एथिकल भी हैं, मॉरल भी हैं, क्योंकि हमने जो स्कीम रखी है उसमें हाईएस्ट वैल्यू है आखिरा. आखिरा मीन्स what do you want to see yourself after next life begins, not this life but next life. And if our objective in that life is X kind of success, then are we doing things which relate with X kind of success or doing against that? Therefore, this should be top. That is the ultimate. But how do we achieve that? We achieve that only when we excel. Excellence or itqan is not only by making tahajjud, but by having Q1 and Q2 research papers, by preparing your lecture and getting prepared for 10,000 questions, by coming to class punctually on time. All these are excellence. So, second value is excellence. Third is mushawara, which means that you don't depend just on your own idea. Share. I don't know how many of our departments sit together, not having cold coffee but just green tea, and talk together. How many HODs and deans every month or every 2 months have a get together of their own faculty to listen to them new ideas. How many in my university? I doubt very much. Mushawara means when you are sitting together and discussing. Vice chancellors in this country are not supposed to meet their faculty members. They are untouchables. You cannot meet them. You need to wait for weeks and weeks for appointments. They have protocols. I know my people very well, how they behave. But mushawara does not mean that. Mushawara means interaction, listening to different criticism, different opinions, then trying to find out what is better, what is good. Now, when you do that, what do you develop? You develop a collectivity, ijtimaiya. You are not just individual. That's what we say, Riphah is a family. But when you are doing that, you think that in any home or in any place, if you are in kitchen and you want to wash this cup, it will not make some noise with the other glass. Friction must take place. So, what should you do? Pitch the cup against glass very strongly to break, or something else. So, we say rahmah. Ijtimaiya should create friction sometime. Why not? It's human. But is rahmah enough? Or you need to have accountability. Whether you are vice chancellor or a faculty member, if you go to Lahore and university says that you can claim your petrol price and you claim twice the price because you are vice chancellor, is that forgivable? So, you must have muhasaba, accountability. So, these 6 values were selected after long in this room, in this very room, at least for about 1 year. I had discussion with my faculty members again and again what should be the final values, and after all their discussion we agreed on that. These are the values that we must follow, and these values cover our domain of work, whether it is engineering, computing, social sciences, everywhere these values are applicable. Behavior on campus, behavior in classroom, behavior in laboratory, everything is covered by these values. So, that is what we have it. So, here the point here is that these are normal classification of values in philosophical writings, ethical writings. It depends on how you interpret the outcome. So, if you feel this brings happiness, I am glad, I have no objection on that, but the other person can also say, मैं स्कार्फ भी पहनूँ, लिबास भी शो ही ना हो और परफ्यूम भी वो ना लगाऊँ जो सारी फ़िज़ा में फैलने वाला हो, मैं भी इंसान हूँ, आखिर क्या मुश्किल है यहाँ पे? Will that be enjoyment or compulsion? मैं हमेशा इंटरव्यू में कहता हूँ कि भाई आप अगर हमारी जो वैल्यूज़ हैं उसे आप नहीं मानते, आप ना आइए। किसने कहा आपसे? अल्लाह की ज़मीन बहुत वसी है और जो कुछ आपकी खिदमात का मुआवजा हम आपको देंगे, दूसरे उससे बेहतर आपको दे देंगे। हाँ, अगर आपको ये वैल्यूज़ पसंद हैं तो शौक़ से आएँ और फिर शिकायत ना करें, उनको ऑब्ज़र्व करें, सिंपल बात है। तो बहरहाल यहाँ मसला रिफ़ा वैल्यूज़ का नहीं है मौलाना, यहाँ मसला ये है कि फ़लसफ़ी हज़रात क्या तसव्वुर फरमाते हैं इसके बारे में। तो ये दिस इज़ हाउ philosophers think about values. Now, I want to share with you a very simple diagram, and it took me quite some time to develop it. If you look on the east or the west, philosophical values, non-philosophical values, whatever you call them, what is their origin? Their origin is essentially certain local customs and traditions. These customs and traditions develop social constructs. This is a term you use in social sciences, sociology, psychology, economics, political science, for those concepts which are agreed among people in a society. That is we call social constructs. So, people follow those. For example, if you go to Japan and you want to meet a professor or a businessman or a prime minister, and you want to shake hand with him, thinking this is the respectful way, but for them that is not respectful way. For them respectful way is keep your hands binded on your body and bow down, maybe not once but twice or thrice. If you do that, for them it is more stronger handshake than you do. It is local custom, social construct. In some places, if you go and you are offered milk or lassi or something and you refuse, it is taken as an insult. In some it is not. Social construct. So, the diagram tell you how things acquire the level of values. मैंने मिसाल दी आपको कि मसलन जापान में बजाय गर्म जोशी के साथ हाथ मिलाते हुए हाथ को उतार देना गर्म जोशी का इजहार नहीं है, बल्कि झुकना उनके ख़्याल में ज़्यादा कवी है हाथ मिलाने के मुकाबले में. ये कल्चर है एक जिसे हम कहते हैं सोशल कंस्ट्रक्ट. लेकिन जो आपने सवाल किया बहुत अहम सवाल है और उसका जवाब भी होना चाहिए लाजमी तौर पे. इस्लाम जो कहता है कि आप इकराम करें तमाम इंसानों का. इकराम का मतलब ये है तकरीम, एहतराम के साथ, और उसमें वो झुकना जिसके अंदर इस बात का एहसास हो कि एक शख्स जो आपसे मुअम्मर है या किसी बिना पर आप समझते हैं कि काबिल एहतराम है, उसके लिए वो करना मुबाह है. मुबाह का मतलब है कि नॉट अ सिन बट नॉट लाइक्ड एंड अप्रूव्ड बाय द प्रॉफिट. Prophet's companion was sitting in the mosque. He came and they stood up and his color of face changed, and he said earlier nations were destroyed because of such behavior which was rather exaggerated. That is how you begin innocently something good. You first stand up, then you develop a feeling, if I don't stand up, then for whom you were standing up will notice me and will downgrade me. Now you are linking your promotion and behavior with that which is shirk. That is what the Prophet meant, and that is why he did not like. Now tell me, in our society, if Peer Sahab Deval Sharif enters here and you do not stand up and touch his knees, can you survive his followers? They will beat you up, huh? Because of our Jahili customs, not knowing Sunnah, not knowing Islam. So, Islam does not want things which look very simple and courteous, but later on they become a hang up or a problem. That is why Prophet did not like it, and I use the words very carefully, that it is mubah, but it is not liked. Okay. So, let us see how values come into existence. So, if something is done locally and done repeatedly, it becomes a custom to the extent that you think this is something very good or annoying. You know better than me, in our tribal areas particularly, there are many customs which sometimes lead to bloodshed, and they are insignificant. Just insulting one person's father or uncle in public leads to bloodshed because it's against custom. How? You did not know this is my uncle and you still behave like that? Social construct. So, these become values, and you say these are our tribal values, our tribe, our brotherly does this. So, that is how the whole Western and Eastern values have come into existence, whether you are in India or in Europe or anywhere else. Now, what are Islamic values? Islamic values are the reversal of this diagram. Islamic values mean divine guidance, wahi or sharia, that brings universal values, and these universal values change the social custom or behavior. Social custom or behavior was the basis of values of East and West both. I am using the word East and West both, I am not saying just West. I am saying whatever you call Eastern values are not Islamic values. They are no different than Western values because they are also based on customary behavior. So, the diagram in front of you is very simple, but it changes the whole perspective. Divine guidance tells us what are universal values. Universal values means things like adl, haq, sidq, honesty, and so on and so forth, adala. So, divine guidance from beyond guides through wahi or revelation in an objective manner. Again, very simple words. When we say objective manner, it means there is no subjectivity involved in it. Subjectivity means my view, my choice, my like. Islamic values are not based on any individual's choice or any family's choice or any group's choice. Islamic values are objective. They are not built from society, custom, traditions. Then we say these are not intuitive or subjective. Subjective means coming from yourself, intuitive means coming from inside your feelings. Intuition is your hidden feeling which comes to you when you see something without any previous experience. लाजमी तौर पे इसका तो मतलब ही है ना, जो ये बनाई गई है डायग्राम वो सोच समझ के बनाई गई है कि इस्लाम में और औरों में फ़र्क क्या है। फ़र्क ये है कि आपके जो भी वैल्यूज़ हैं ये वैल्यूज़ अरेबियन नहीं हैं, ये तस्वुर आपकी तारीख़ में मौजूद है। कोई किताब उठा लें आप तारीख़ की, उसमें अरबी तमद्दुन है, अरबी क़वानीन है, अरबी लिबास है, अरबी चाय है, अरबी कॉफ़ी है, हर चीज़ अरबी है, अरबी जहाज़ रानी है। इसकी कोई बुनियाद नहीं इस्लाम के अंदर। दैट्स वाई आई से हिस्ट्री शुड बी रीरिटन। हमारे यहाँ कोई भी कस्टम वो नहीं है जिसे आप ये कह सकते हो कि ये अरबों का कस्टम है जो आपको दे दिया गया, कोई ताल्लुक़ नहीं इसका। ये रॉन्ग हिस्ट्री है, करप्शन ऑफ हिस्ट्री। इस्लाम ये कहता है कि आपकी वैल्यूज़ की बुनियाद जो है वो शरीयत है, शरीयत आपको यूनिवर्सल वैल्यूज़ देती है, लोकल वैल्यूज़ नहीं देती। अगर शरीयत कहती है एक चीज़ हलाल है तो हलाल हर जगह है, हराम नहीं है। द कुरान टॉक्स अबाउट इटसेल्फ एंड सेज I am guidance for the humanity and the criteria for what is right and wrong. Hudal linnas wa bayinatin minal huda wal furqan. These are the words of the Quran about itself. How it is guidance? It is guidance because it does not tell you how to make tea by first boiling water and then putting some tea in it, but tells you that you can have a drink which is clean and healthy for you. Therefore, if tea made properly is healthy for me, then the Quran guides me how to make tea. But it is not a manual of tea. That makes it universal. If it was a manual of should tea be colored or not colored, how many gram of tea, how hot a water, then it will be something particular and only confined to a place, a time. The Quran gives you principles which are universal. Therefore, the diagram says it gives you values which are universal. These universal values change social custom and behavior. In the earlier diagram, you had social custom and traditions becoming social constructs and then norms. It's complete reversal. Whatever the Quran tells you is not Makkan custom or Madinan custom. All concept of civilization in China, in Europe, in America is based on this diagram. That local custom developed into that civilization. Islamic concept of culture, civilization and thought is reversal. Complete reversal, and therefore you have it, that culture which is in a society drawn from Quran or universal principles is Islamic. Otherwise it is either Indus Valley or Texla Valley. तो जो Islamic concept of values is completely opposite of whatever is taught to you, to me and to millions of people for centuries. And that's why you find your very well educated PhDs and professors who teach history and political science and what not, they always say, well, this dress of women and this dress of long shirt, all this is Arabian and imposed on them. The Quran never said use this long shirt. The Quran said have libas at-taqwa, libas of taqwa, libas which shows Allah consciousness and not showing your body contours. Simple, open for everyone. Did not give measurement, that long shirt, no. देखिए इस्लाम ने कभी एक मर्तबा नहीं, आधी मर्तबा भी नहीं कहा कि अगर आपकी बेटी शादी में आपसे इख्तिलाफ करती है उसे आप गोली मार दें। बल्कि एक साहबी आती है, आके कहती हैं कि मेरे वालिद ने मेरी शादी कर दी है फ़लाँ शख्स के साथ, मैं पसंद नहीं करती और मैं उससे अलग होना चाहती हूँ। आप फरमाते हैं कि ठीक है, तुम अलग हो सकती हो। ये सुनने के बाद वो कहती है लेकिन मैं अलग नहीं होऊंगी, मैं आई थी अपना राइट मनवाने के लिए। नाउ शी इज़ अ डिफरेंट पर्सन। پہلے وہ تھی لبریشن کی کلیمنٹ، جو آج آپ سنتے ہیں سڑکوں پہ، مائی باڈی مائی ول. لیکن جب اس کو یہ معلوم ہو گیا کہ اسلام میں یہ جبر نہیں ہے تو شی بیکیم subservient to elderly people in his family, because then she realized that her father is not her enemy. He must have looked for many other aspects she cannot discover right now. That's why he married her. So Islam does not give anyone permission to kill because of that. یہ آپ کا پیورلی ایک جاہلی ٹرائبل کسٹم ہے جس کو سر پہ بہت موٹی پگڑی باندھ کے اسلام سے لگا دیتے ہیں، اس سے کوئی تعلق نہیں. جو بہت بڑا سر پہ لپیٹ کے امامہ ہم کہتے ہیں کہ ہم مسلمان ہو گئے، سکھ بھی تو ایسے باندھتے ہیں. کیا وہ امامے سے علم آ جاتا ہے ان کے اندر اسلام کا؟ نہیں آتا نا. تو پرابلم یہ ہے کہ وی ڈو ناٹ گو فار ٹیکسٹ آف اسلام، قرآن اینڈ سنہ، اینڈ فالو دس کسٹمری تھنگس اینڈ دین ایٹریبیوٹ دیم ٹو اسلام، جو اور بھی بری بات ہے. اگر آپ یہی کہیں کہ بھئی یہ ٹرائبل کسٹم ہے تو مانا جا سکتا ہے، لیکن اب تو یہ کہتے ہیں نہیں اسلام. آئی ایم سو اشیمڈ. ابھی ریسنٹلی ہوا یہ بلوچستان میں، اور پتہ نہیں کہاں کہاں ہوتا رہتا ہے، کسی کو اطلاع بھی ہوتی ہوگی. تو all this is shameful, all this is against our Islamic teachings, but we need to educate people, and that takes place at the level of home. From home onwards these values are to be inculcated. اچھا دیکھیے، اب آپ سے 2 دفعہ ملاقات ہوئی ہے، لیکن 2 دفعہ میں نے جو بات آپ سے بار بار کہی ہے وہ یہ ہے کہ یہ میٹنگ اس وقت مفید ہو سکتی ہے جب آپ مجھ سے اختلاف کریں، سوالات کریں، اور اپنی بات کو بغیر کسی خوف اور خطرے کے بیان کریں. محض سن کر کے مشائخ کی محفل کی طرح سے سر ہلا کر کے خاموش ہو جانا اس کا مقصد ختم کر دے گا. This is the interactive class where I want my faculty members to speak up and contribute. وہ آپ نہیں کریں گے کوئی فائدہ نہیں. So kindly disagree and raise questions. Each one. Agreed? Thank you very much.